Steph, was that the play you drew up, or how much confidence do you have in Caitlin for that shot? Steph, was that the play you drew up, or how much confidence do you have in Caitlin for that shot?
Well, Austin drew up the play.
What's up, Fever Nation? Did you hear the question? We're going to take this in bites, okay? Steph, was that the play you drew up, or was it the confidence you had in Caitlin Clark to take that shot? And what did she say? Well, Austin drew up that play. That's everything. See, all of this backtracking and this change of story about who should have taken that shot is totally blown out of the water. You have the head coach right there telling you herself. The question was beautiful. This was not even a tough question, which they don't normally give Stephanie in any interview. None of these reporters challenge Stephanie White at all. They give her softball questions. They put the ball in her court for her to lay it out the way she wants to lay it out. But this question was so smooth, and it was so unintentionally tough. But Stephanie, because it was Caitlin Clark. See, whenever Caitlin Clark's name is mentioned, Stephanie checks out. She almost checks out because of the envy and the jealousy she has of this young lady. Stephanie knows nothing about being this good, being CC good. Stephanie was a good player in her time, but she was never this good. So when the question is put to her, Steph, when you drew up the play, was it about the confidence you had in Caitlin Clark to take that shot? And what does White say? She says, well, Austin drew up the play. What about the confidence in your player to take that shot? She totally abandoned that aspect of the question. She doesn't even answer it. Now, she pivots back to it later in the interview, in the post-game presser. She pivots back to that. At the precipice of the moment, she showed where she stood in terms of who that play was designed for. Because I thought I heard, and you all can correct me, and if you all agree, subscribe to my channel. I thought I heard her say, if it were up to me, that's not the play I would have drawn up. And you know, as Austin was drawing up that play in the huddle, the outcomes had to be in a manner in which favored the way Stephanie would have wanted the play drawn up. Now, we know that wasn't the way it ended because there was a breakdown in the original play. And the ad-lib, everyone who ad-libbed on that, CC ad-libbed. Once she saw McMahon double teaming off of her to go pick up Lexi in the corner with Citron, she doubled back. CC doubled back to the open spot on the floor. Shout out to Sophie, who quarterbacked that play. When she saw the play breaking down, basically cratering in real time, she saw CC coming out of the dust and the cloud of dust and into the open area on the court, and she makes the pass. McMahon tries to make a play on the ball based on her angle that she took. It wasn't, I won't say a poor angle, it was the best angle she could have taken given the traffic she was coming through in the paint. CC gets a clean catch, clean look, clean pull-up, clean finish. You couldn't have asked for a better play in real time. Now, the front office wants to double back and say, well, it was for CC. It doesn't matter at this point. That happens in the game. That happens in sports. You have to be able to audible. They audible. Sophie picked up on the audible. CC made, everything that in real time, it looked planned. Our front office is trying to say, oh, we had more to do with that play than you realize. Sophie, they didn't go rogue. That was the way Stephanie drew up. Because look how Stephanie says in the interview, and I want you to look at the expression on the players' faces as she says that, because women can't hide their emotions. Not Stephanie, not anybody. Women, ladies, if you agree with me, subscribe to my channel. Are you all great at hiding your emotions when there is an innate disdain, jealousy, and envy for that person?
Steph, was that the play you drew up, or how much confidence do you have in Caitlin for that shot?
Well, Austin drew up the play. I mean, Austin does a lot of our into game stuff. And it was what he drew up. We executed it perfectly. I think you see we've been in a lot of those end of game situations, and we've done a really good job of executing in those moments. And we got the shot, and C stepped up and made a hell of a shot. Yeah, I mean, look, it's about finding ways, and we found a way. Yeah, I mean, look, it's about finding ways, and we found a way.
I mean, come on now. If that was the play you drew up, look at the expression on the players' faces as she articulates through this thought, trying to make a square peg fit into a round hole. I mean, that was not Stephanie's play. And look, her body language and the way she's articulating this tells you everything you need to know. Forget about this damage control. That's totally out the door. Stephanie White tips her hand right here at this point in the interview. Now, immediately after she says this, she's going to pivot to a play that CC made for Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey is just almost perpetually in her mind. Kelsey was the primary. B was the secondary. CC probably was the tertiary. I dare say Lexi looked like the way the Mystics reacted. It appeared Lexi looked like that's the player that their coach, drew up for them to defend. You see Citron and McMahon go after Lexi. They were going to double team Lexi. But listen to Coach White. Listen to Stephanie White as she tries to articulate this, tries to make this make sense. She's not happy about the way she's even trying to explain it. I mean, come on. If that was a play you drew up and you got the outcome you wanted, that's the way you're going to articulate that? Are you serious? Come on, Stephanie White apologists. You all got to admit I'm on to something on this. And if you agree with me, even you Stephanie White apologists, subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's about finding ways, and we found a way, and get a couple of defensive stops, a couple of buckets. I thought, when we had the loose ball that Shakira got, and C found Kelsey. I thought, when we had the loose ball that Shakira got, and C found Kelsey, and somehow she found her balance and made the layup. I mean, those are all winning plays, and it is a hard league. And Washington is a team that just keeps coming at you. And they're a resilient group. They kept coming at us. It wasn't perfect. It's not going to be, but finding a way is important. And this group grew tonight.
Coach, what can a signature CC moment like this do to sort of just quiet the noise and give you guys a ton of momentum? Coach, what can a signature CC moment like this do to sort of just quiet the noise and give you guys a ton of momentum?
I don't know that the noise is ever going to be quiet. I don't know if the noise is ever going to be quiet.
Well, especially when it's coming from within the organization. I understand that. I want y'all, I know when I repeat a lot of this stuff, Fever Nation, Clark Nation, you all think I'm being a little bit too redundant. I want you all to listen to what she's saying, and I want you to hear the question, and I want you to hear the answer. I'm going to repeat what I think I need to put emphasis on, because Stephanie says a lot of things one moment, and then she acts as though she never said it the next moment. I'm trying to embed this into your memory, so when you hear the contradiction later, and you will, I want you to look back and say, dang, what this lady Stephanie White is like. What's the name of that movie? Lizzie Borden. I think she had like 20-something personalities. I'm dating myself, but people my age know what I'm talking about. Stephanie is a piece of work. She is a piece of work, and obviously she needs a lot of support and a lot of people around her to protect her from herself. That's why you see all of these entities in the sports world coming to her defense, circling the wagon. They're trying to protect Stephanie from herself. She admits early in the interview she didn't even draw up the play. I mean, that with a game, that's like, and I hate to bring up football and guys, but remember the best plays you see in the Super Bowl and or in the championship context, and then you find out that the coach didn't even draw up the play. It's like, oh man, we wanted to give you credit for that. That's why they're going with the smear campaign. That's why they're circling the wagons and trying to protect Steph. Why would you have to do this from such a bright coach? Just about every coach says Stephanie is knowledgeable of the game and she's one of the smartest coaches in the business. So why are y'all smearing their best player to make their coach look good?
I don't know that the noise is ever going to be quiet. This is what Caitlin does. She makes big shots and she has big moments, and I think when you have a player like her, it's very easy for people to just take it for granted and to think that everything that she does is always going to be easy and flawless, and she's just going to step up and she's going to do it every time. And it's a number one, a lot of work that she puts in. Number two, like it's been a rough go over the last, 18 to 24 months for her. Number two, like it's been a rough go over the last, 18 to 24 months for her. And so she's finding her way. And every opportunity that she gets, to hit a shot like that or to get a stop. I mean, she got a big defensive stop for us, to get a pass like she did to Kelsey, is an opportunity to continue to feel more and more like herself and grow that confidence back. And, is an opportunity to continue to feel more and more like herself and grow that confidence back. And, I say this often, and I think sometimes we take great players and certainly generational talent for granted. I say this often, and I think sometimes we take great players and certainly generational talent for granted. And what she did was incredible for us. She's going to have many more moments like that. I know she is. And we needed this one tonight.
I know y'all white apologists, y'all think I'm going off the deep end, but is this a Freudian slip? She says we take generational talent like this for granted. Now I'm assuming she's staying in the direction of I can't draw up all the plays for her. That's why I have to draw up plays for other players on this team, because people are going to know what we're going to do. Remember that phrase, Fever Nation? Remember that? That's why they went away from the pick and roll, because teams are going to expect that. So when has it been stopped, Stephanie? When you talked about it, these women always like to defer to men. She mentioned Utah Jazz, Karl Malone, John Stockton, made a living off of the pick and roll. They're Hall of Famers off of the pick and roll. Are you serious, Stephanie White, when you make comments like this? Do you understand the depth and breadth of what you're saying? These guys are Hall of Famers off the pick and roll. Stephanie, it has never been stopped. No one has figured out a way to stop it, because it discombobulates the standard defensive coverages and forces you to make decisions on the fly. And in most times and in most cases, teams and individual players don't. No matter how good of a defensive player they are, no matter how good of a coach they have, the pick and roll is indefensible. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we're going to see if she's going to not take Caitlin Clark for granted. You all have a blessed day. I'm out.
Big win on the road by the Fever.